Hey everyone, welcome back to the Movie Studio. Today I'm here with a brand new video for you guys. I'm going to be giving my full review of Rowley Jefferson's awesome, friendly, spooky stories. This just came out this past Tuesday, and I've read it over the course of 3 days. This is not one that I necessarily just wanted to binge read. I just thought it would be fine just to read it during certain times of the day. So, first of all, if you can please subscribe to my channel down below, I will really appreciate it because I'm trying to goal of hitting 350 subscribers by the time that school ends. We are currently at 331, so roughly 19 more until we get their goal, and I think that we can do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the chapter title. Jeff Kennedy released these pretty much almost every day, about 2 weeks before the book came out. So pretty much I'm just going to put it in the corner. So, first of all, something you should know, this is not Rowley Jefferson necessarily until the end. It's him writing these spooky stories with his imagination. What did I think of this? I was a little bit confused, because I thought it was going to be, his personal stories, but it's things that he's writing, which I think is cool, too. You might have different opinions on what you will want from this book, but I think that they still did a good job of, interesting ideas. Maybe I wanted a little bit, maybe it wasn't as spooky as maybe I wanted it to be, but I think it's still, a fun idea. Maybe I didn't, I think I liked it more than the adventure one, but, so that's my opinion on that. Okay, so, first up, the changing. I'm gonna put that up there. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but this one, Rowan, who's pretty much a copycat from Rowley, he's growing hairs all over his body. And apparently, yeah, he's growing all this hair right here, and he's not sure what he's gonna do. So then he found hair remover, and he passed out from the fumes. So apparently, his parents are werewolves, and Rowan is a werewolf too, which this was kind of exaggerated for me. I was not expecting that. Comment down below, were you expecting werewolves? I'm not sure if I was expecting it to be entered into the story, but... So yeah, they are werewolves, and technically Rowan's a werewolf too. Okay. The Prankster. Now, I liked this one. This was a fun one. Pretty much Jasper is the prankster of all of the village, so they decided to pull this prank on him, where everyone ignored him, and then he thought that he was dead. People pranked him into thinking that he was dead, and he even attended his own funeral. So, I thought this was fun too, because I feel like Jasper kind of got what he deserved, even though I don't think anyone needs to have a prank pulled on them because of, just because they're a prankster. That is a pretty intense prank, I gotta say. What else is in here? So yeah, they pretty much just pulled his prank onto him into thinking that he was dead. We have Ghost Friend, and this one is where Rusty's best friend Gabe unfortunately passed away, but then a ghost came back to haunt him, and Gabe was being very annoying, and Rusty did not want that to continue happening. So eventually Gabe just stuck around. I think that I did like that. So, I feel like having, a friend, unfortunately they pass away or you're moving away, to still have them with you. Unfortunately, that's not exactly possible. But the way that they're playing the scenario, I think, is pretty cool. Okay, so next up we have the Biter. And it turns out that Lily, who's this young girl, and she always liked putting things to her mouth, and she always liked biting things. Lily is a vampire. And apparently Lily's parents are vampires, too. So that was funny. But then it turns out that Lily was not a vampire, and she was just a kid biting people. So that was interesting. I mean, comment down below what you thought about that. That was kind of weird. My new dog Chloe loves biting people, but that's just normal for a puppy. But kids biting people, that is a lot. That, especially if she's 3 or 4 years old. The Human Head. So this one was where, let's see here, Anders, he just didn't have a body when he grew up. So he just kind of lived on without a body. And he hasn't really hit his growth spurt yet, so he's just kind of on the bottom. And then he found Headless Horsemen. He does not have a head. He has the rest of his body, and they become fast friends. But he turns evil when he decides to move in on Andrew's girl. But then that girl chooses Anders. So, and then we have the scanner, and it's this machine that people went through this thing at the international airport for security system, but everyone came back on skeletons the other side. So then everyone ended up being skeletons, and that was kind of like the point of it. So then skeletons kind of went around town, and then all the skeletons turned back to regular people when an explosion happened. The cellar. Rafe never met anyone. He was just a little boy. So he kind of made pretend friends, but it wasn't like the real thing. And they said he must never go down into the cellar. And it turns out that the cellar was a computer and a printer and a fancy chair on wheels. And he got introduced to some people finally. So that was kind of what they were hiding. They were waiting until he got older, 18 years old, to really introduce like people to him and introduce all these things to him, which I think is kind of cool, kind of waiting for a surprise. Although, like, growing up without those kind of things, I mean, that is tough. I'm not sure what time period this chapter is supposed to take in, but, and then we have the nap. Now, this one I like, because it's this old grandma, and, she didn't get invited and no one came to visit her, and then she fell asleep, and everyone thought that she was dead. So then they dropped her off, and they had a really quick funeral, and she was actually alive. So, but then, she got this thing where like a community would come to her, and they got it to her, but there was too much focus on the big game that her family did not care. But then her niece, well, her great niece, technically, Amber, came by, and they had a lot of fun. So now Fanny was included in the lives from now on, which I did kind of like. And then unfortunately she passed away. But no one even knows until the week was halfway over. So, yeah, we have the stain. And pretty much Robbie went to get strawberry and Rocky Road ice cream for him and his dad, but he tripped and fell, and the Rocky Road ice cream fell over, which was his, and the strawberry ice cream was low. So then he decided that he would just use the strawberry ice cream, and say it was his, and that his dad's ice cream fell. But then he lied, and then he had the strawberry ice cream, and a stain went on his shirt, and then the stain grew and grew, and then it started moving. And then he put it in the washing machine, but then all the clothes came out pink. And then he almost escaped, but he couldn't get too far. So it really shows that you shouldn't lie. I think that's the kind of the main thing. So then we have a mummy, and this one is mainly focusing on that there's this skeleton named Mech, and he destroyed things, and he was all over the news. And then suddenly, another named Kahaba, another mummy was alive, and Meg got jealous because apparently Kahaba was like preserved correctly. So Meg got jealous that Kahaba was taking up everything. So then Meg tried to make like his career come back, but that did not work. And then, so that's kind of like the point of it, you know, like there's two different ones. We have the science project where Victor wanted to have a pet, and he was working on a science project, and he built a, like, dark matter thing, but it did not get first place. And then he built, for his next science project, he built a can electricity bring the dead to life, and he got first place and actually worked. And then he brought his little creation home as a pet, so he got a pet, which I thought was really funny and cute. Okay, next up we have the medicine cabinet. So apparently he went into the medicine cabinet and he got a age reversing makeup, so then he became younger and younger. now using it. So, interesting. Yeah, so he became younger and younger using it. So he tried to go back. He tried to go back to it. So, yeah. And then his parents said that because they had him later in life, they had been using that magic age reversing makeup because they didn't want to look older than all the other parents. But now they're, but because he used all the makeup, they were stuck looking like this for good. So now they can't go back. So now they're older. So now they're like, and they look like they're in their 70. They're in their like 70s or whatever. And we just have a little boy right there. Okay. Then we have the invasion where a zombie invasion is coming. So they welcome the zombies because they will kind of want to let them in, and they end up keeping in town. Although they want brains, but they gave them tofu brains. And then aliens come in and they welcome the aliens, but then they blast them. But then the aliens pretty much take over. And then we have the demon, and this is what happened to Rowley Jefferson, a personal story. So pretty much he invited his friend Greg over, and they were watching a scary movie, and when Greg talked in code language, he became a demon. So we have the one true story here. So then he became a demon, and he started messing up the entire house, and he started doing that. So then they say if you use holy water, you can get rid of a demon. So then Rowley used the toilet water, and he became back to normal pretty much. So the closing says, well, I warned you. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't have written those scary stories because now I'm a little spooked, and it probably wasn't such a smart idea to write down that demon spell in here because that could cause all sorts of problems. But I'm going to show this book to Greg anyway because I have a feeling he'll really like it. Okay, so that is kind of what you need to know about. I liked a few chapters. Comment down below what you thought of this book. I mean, was it what you expected? Was not what you expected. So anyways, I'm going to thank everyone for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for everyone for watching, and